If you build it, they will come. So if you raise it, will they spend? That's the question being asked. It's an interesting question. If the federal minimum wage is raised, will it spur Americans to spend more? Lou Dobbs is here with his take. This is simple math to me. You have a pool of money
brought
you're
to you by rather simple people on this issue.
Well, you have a pool of money as an employer that you can spend on labor.
We call that a budget.
It's a fine. So you either pay fewer people more money, or more people less money.
Right.
But either way, it's the same budget, it's the same amount of money go out in wages, but somehow there's some new math in Washington that defies that.
And the folks behind this, I'm sure, are the most well-meaning, delightful people in the country. And if they're not, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, I can go.
But the fact of the matter is this. We have 25 million people unemployed, underemployed, or who have given up being employed, and someone wants to raise the minimum wage by 40%. These are not the brightest economic minds at work in the nation's capital, where very few are at work. But they really look desperately in need of tutelage. It's insane. By the way, I supported the last minimum wage hike. But this is madness. This is silliness. And it's being driven, apparently, by politics, ideology, and the fervent desire on the part of some that we would be talking about an idiotic proposal to raise a minimum wage instead of $16 trillion in national debt, 4 consecutive years of trillion-dollar deficits by this administration, and a government that is literally out of control under this administration.
I thought it was interesting to note when I was looking at research for this that there are 18 states that have a minimum wage that is higher than the federal minimum. Do we need a federal minimum wage if we have state minimum wages where local government, I feel like, always knows better what is best for they know what the cost of living is. They know what, labor demand.
What would liberals in Congress do if they didn't do this? But the fact is, it can send important signals. And at a time of heightened prosperity in which there is lagging income for workers, it does make sense sometimes to send a signal. And by the way, I'm an independent conservative. I am as fiscally conservative and economically conservative as anyone in this country. But the fact of the matter is, the issue of who decides what the wages are, it's the marketplace.
Right. So do we need a minimum wage then? Maybe we don't need one at all if the market is working.
As I say, it's helpful symbolically to send signals when they're needed, and that's happened at least 2 or 3 times over the course of the past 60 years. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What would be really nice if Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. and Ralph Nader and other assorted geniuses in Washington would come up with ways in which to drive prosperity in the private sector. But for them, every solution is government. For them, every solution seems to be legislative or fiat. They love fiat, particularly under this president, who seems to think it's the imperial presidency born anew. It's time for people to understand this is a private economy that will determine the prosperity in this nation, not more fiats from government.
You are here every day at this time, but I want to say tonight at 7 p.m. you have some great guests. You have Leo Hendry, but you're also talking Fast and Furious, right?
Absolutely. We're talking today, a Judiciary Committee hearing. One of the leading investigators in that, Congressman Trey Gowdy, will be joining us.
Nice.
Congressman Lloyd Gohmert will be joining us as well to go through the examination by the Judiciary Committee of the recalcitrant, I think is the way to say it, if not uncooperative, Attorney General who's facing the prospect of a contempt of Congress citation.
Yeah, it's quite a story to watch. All right, Lou Dobbs, thank you so much.